Everything about God is the real thing. We are the metaphor. What is that word? What is that word? Anthropomorphic, right? People say, when the Torah says God's arm, it's anthropomorphic. It's attributing a human quality to the divine. That is not Jewish. The truth is that when we say God's arm, we are being theopomorphic. We're attributing divine properties to the human being, because our arm should not really be called an arm. It's theopomorphic. Our speech should not be called speech. So God's need, of course he has need. And only his need is the real one, the valid one. My needs, they change every half hour. So you see, we've twisted everything so upside down. The creator of the universe needs nothing. That's it. I quit. This is not a creator I want to hear about. Yes, the word need is a little uncomfortable. So let's not use the word need. Let's say essential. Is the world essential to him? Or he can do without it? Are we essential to him? Or he really couldn't care less? How do we ever accept and believe that we are not necessary for him? The world is not necessary for him. The whole thing is just, but he was bored. It is depressing. It's blasphemous. It's so wrong from every angle. So I was introduced to this minister. So I'm introduced to this guy, and his first words were, "So do you believe in the Savior?" So I said, actually, I'm not looking for God to serve me. I want to serve God. The man started to cry. He says, I never even thought of that. But once you hear it, it's like, what were you thinking? That God exists to help you? He's your personal valet? You just got to tip him properly? This leads us to marriage, intimacy. We marry for love. Is that not true? We marry for love. If you marry for love, all you want from your spouse is love. But there's so much more to your spouse. Unfortunately, your spouse has an opinion on things. I know, it's very annoying. Your spouse has a personality, has certain sensitivities, moods, habits. Boy, I didn't marry you for this. Just the love, that's all I want. The rest, I don't want to hear it. In other words, I'm not married to you. I am married to love. So as long as there's love, we're together. No love, I really don't need you. If a guy says to a woman, I want to marry you for your money, everybody agrees that it's offensive. Why is it offensive? She has money. and he likes money. What's offensive about it? What's offensive is when a man says, I want to marry you for your money, or I love you for your money, he's actually saying, can I just have the money? Do we got to go through this whole thing with just the money? No. I have to marry you to get the money. Okay, I'll marry you. But please stay out of my way. Just give me the money. Isn't the same thing true? People say, I want to get to heaven. I want to be saved. I don't want to go to hell. Who do I talk to? I talk to God. Okay, I come to God and I say, can I just go into heaven and not have to go through hell? And God says, well, 613 mitzvahs, or serve me, worship me, love me. I just want to get into heaven. Why is everything so complicated?
I actually said when I was dealing with this whole issue of punishing God and all that kind of stuff, and I was very much in the thick of it, I remember speaking to a rabbi and I said, I just want to know that I'm safe with God. Am I safe? And he actually turned around to me, and I'll never forget this line. He said, you don't want safety. I said, yeah, I do, of course. That's exactly what I want. He said, no, you want closeness.
Where did you find that rabbi?
He's a special man.
Yes, absolutely true.
And closeness comes with risk, and it might not always be safe.
Yes, closeness comes with very intense emotions. That's what makes it close. So if I marry for love, is it any better than marrying for money? It's exactly the same thing. I'm looking for love, and I think I can get love from you. So I'll marry you for the love. And then you switch, bait and switch. All of a sudden, you've got feelings, and you've got needs, and you've got moods. Come on, this is not part of the deal. So I'm not married to you. I am married to the love, and that's all I want to hear about. The result is people today feel alone in the world like never before. Married people, happily married people, they have no complaints. Marriage is great, everything's good, but I'm alone in the world. How can you be alone when you're married? It's because both of you are married to the love. You're not married to each other. You're married to things about each other, but not each other. So your wife is out of town, for example, and you say you miss her. I really miss my wife. Really? What do you miss about her? No, I miss her. She's not home, so I miss her. Well, what do you miss about her? It's not what I miss, it's her. And then she comes home. And the minute she walks in the door, it's like, oh, good, now you can take care of the dishes. And it becomes about something. We're not supposed to love God for something. We're supposed to love him. And that means if he needs me, I'm here. What will he give me? I don't need that. What is God good for? No, he is my God. That's the Jewish slogan. Not God is love. Not God is almighty and powerful. Then power is your God. Love is your God. What do Jews say? Jews say, Zeh keli ve'anvehu. This is my God, so I will glorify him because he's my God. Not because he's big, not because he's smart, not because he's rich, and not because he will give me everything I ask. Same should be true with marriage. Nothing about your spouse can be more important than your spouse. They don't have to earn the privilege of being your spouse. It's not a contest. And in intimacy, if we can go that far, physical intimacy. Physical intimacy is not about something. That's a performance. That's pornography. And it's killing marriages all over the world because the intimacy between husband and wife has become a big thing. Are you good at it? Can you be better at it? You want 13 secrets that will make you better at it? That's it. They're each alone in their own world. It's so dehumanizing. Intimacy means it's not about anything. It's just us with no thing coming between us. That's intimate. We've lost it. We've lost it. We've become way too materialistic. And love is materialistic. Love is a thing where you can have or not have. You can have more, you can have less. So maybe it's not a tangible material, but it's still a thing. It's not the person. It's something you can get from the person, you can do with the person. It's not the person. And so you have a performance, and then it's an anxiety, and then you're not so, you got to compete with everybody else. Who performs better? Who's better at it? It's horrible. It's pornography. Like after being intimate, a husband or a wife will ask, how was it? How was it? There was no it, there was just us. Who's the it? And why do you have to ask? Weren't you there? No. You were doing your thing, and she was doing her thing. It didn't bring you closer to each other. It separated you for the moment. Now you have to compare. It's horrible. It is horrible. It's degrading. And eventually they will hold it against each other. It'll turn nasty. So what is real intimacy? Real intimacy means I don't need anything to connect me to you because I'm yours and you are mine. There's no performance. There's no it. There's us to the exclusion of all things. So it sounds like a joke, but it's really not. If you ask your grandmother, what happens in the bedroom? I'm sure your grandmother would say, nothing. You say, well, come on, tell me. Nothing. See, that is the right answer. A bedroom does not tolerate anything. A bedroom is meant for him and her. He's not a thing and she's not a thing. You start bringing things into the bedroom and it's not a bedroom anymore and there's no intimacy. So a bedroom should not have a television. A bedroom should not have a desk with a computer. It's a place for him and her, nothing else. In intimacy, there's no lights, there's no music. There's no sound. There's no talking. Because no thing can enhance intimacy, which is a non-thing. Intimacy means us to the exclusion of everything, because things get in the way. Intimacy means I am all yours, you are all mine. We don't need anything. This is the future. I'm sure that psychology will catch on in the world of mental health. The new message is going to be, no, calm down. You don't really need any of that. You don't need anything. Look around and see who needs you. Because it's much more important to be needed than to be loved.
Can I ask at this point, is it a worthy question to ask, but why does God need us? Okay, so let's accept the premise God needs us. Is it a fair question to ask why, or should we just say it doesn't matter why? He needs us. And what are we giving him?
We don't really need to know why. We just need to marvel. You're right. What can he possibly get from us? Why would he need us? I don't know. The more mysterious it is, the more I love him for it. So I don't really need a rationalization.
Couldn't mystery breed doubt?
Can a mystery...
Couldn't mystery breed doubt that God, if I can't understand it, could we not then fall into a sense of doubt?
Yes, if we're a little insecure. And the same thing in marriage. If a wife keeps asking her husband, why do you need me? Why do you love me? She's having a hard time accepting. That's not healthy. Yes, your husband is a superior human being, and it is a marvel that he needs you. But he needs you. Enjoy it. Don't destroy it. Don't sabotage it. But there is somewhat of an explanation. If you read the description of creation, on the first day, God created light. On the second day, the third day, the fourth day, every day he creates stuff. On the sixth day, God creates the first human. And then God says, it is not good for a person to be alone. I'll create him a helpmate. And so he separated them and they became two people. But the question is, why did he have to say it? God wanted to create a man and he wanted to create a woman. So go ahead and create. Why do you have to justify yourself by saying it's not good to be alone? Whatever it is, go ahead and create. Do what you want. It's your project, God didn't create the sun and then say, oh, it's not good for the sun to exist alone. I'll create a moon too. He just went ahead and did it. Here is something really profound. When God created the human, he felt like he needed to tell him why. So God says, I created you because it's not good to be alone. And he is referring to himself. It's like this. God is saying, I am the creator. I am infinite. I am almighty, all powerful, all knowing. I am so perfect, I can't believe it myself. But there's just me. Perfect as I am, there's just me. And that's not good. That's why I created you. I need someone, not something. And why do I need someone? So that there's not just me. Because just me is not good. Now, what's not good about being alone? It is horrible. But why? There's something very beautiful and noble about it. Physically, materialistically, it's perfect to be alone. I mean, there's nothing better. Independent, self-sufficient, I don't need anybody. What a pleasure. But where's the goodness in it? There's nothing good about it. You're capable, you can take care of yourself, you don't need anybody's help. Fine. What's good about that? God didn't say it's not practical to be alone. He said it's not good. God is saying that about himself. I am perfect, I'm all-knowing, almighty, I can do whatever, I know everything. Yeah, so what? Where's the goodness? To have goodness, there's got to be another. Can't just be you. Even if you're perfect. Especially when you're perfect. You see, if a man was really perfect and he got married, he wouldn't need anything from his wife because he's perfect. All he needs is for her to be in his life so that it's not just him. Now he really needs her, not something from her. Isn't that amazing? So here's the sum. If I'm perfect, I think I'm perfect, or I don't care to be perfect. I'm content the way I am. And yet I get married to you. And for some reason, you're not available to me. What am I missing? If we don't respond to God, is he less perfect? No, he's still perfect. He doesn't need anything from you because he has everything. But if you're not there while he's keeping Shabbos, then he is alone in his Shabbos. And it's not good to be alone. So what's missing at his Shabbos table? You're missing. Not your religiosity. You're not there. And that hurts. And if it hurts him, then it hurts infinitely. Because his hurt is the real hurt. Ours is just a metaphor. And the same thing with marriage. Same thing with children. If your children are not on the same page with you, it's not a religious issue. And don't make it a religious issue. It's the child. So the child who does not join the family, doesn't sit at the Shabbos table, is no less needed, no less essential to the family. In fact, in some way, he's more needed because he's missed. Now we've got a world that makes sense, a life that's worth living. That's Judaism.
And can we go back to the original discussion about relating to punishment and to the concept of punishment when bad things come our way in life? With all this in mind, how does this reframe things?
There is reward and there is punishment. If you live healthy, you're healthy. If you don't live healthy, you won't be healthy. There are consequences. That's true. But is that why you're going to live healthy? Because you don't want to have health problems? That's your life? It's senseless. You want to be healthy so that you can live life. Being healthy is not life. So people who are crazy about their health, they have no life.
Yeah.
Which means they have no meaningful relationships. That's life. So God is very healthy, but it's not good to be alone. That's why the Mishnah says, there is reward and there is punishment. But why would you even bother thinking about that when you can be serving God? The reward and the punishment are ways of reminding us to serve God. But to live your life for the reward or to avoid punishment, that's not even living.
And what about someone trying their best, doing their best, but feeling like things aren't going the way they might have wanted?
In most cases, in the vast majority of cases, what we think went wrong in our lives was not wrong at all. We just don't see things clearly. So the real trick is to reassess, because we do that all the time. As a child, we felt it was the biggest disaster, the worst day of my life, when my mother said we can't go to the park. A couple of days later, I kind of got over it. Turns out that the park was crowded, and an hour later it started to rain. It was actually a good thing we didn't go to the park. So looking back at things, we realized that we were overreacting. It was not a bad thing. It certainly wasn't a tragic thing. So it's all a matter of perspective. There are times when God is mysterious, and we don't understand why this would happen. So what else is new? Like somebody said, I don't understand why God does what he does. And the rabbi said to him, let's go to the shorter list. What do you understand? How much of life do we understand? Why are you surprised that you don't understand God? You don't understand your mother. You don't understand your children. You never understood your teacher. So let's not get so bent out of shape every time things don't happen the way we predicted. Look, weathermen, they don't get upset. They're wrong all the time. They expected rain. The rain didn't come. They expected snow, a storm. They warned you, don't go out. It's going to be. It was not. So that they quit and not come back to work the next day.
Fine, but do they readjust? Do they do we do what the Talmud suggests in one place where it says when you face bad circumstances, you should examine your actions and try to figure out what's going on?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. If you think something bad happened, rethink, re-examine. And don't go with the punishment thing. You got to really be careful with that. Like the people who say that the Holocaust was a punishment for our sins, that is so wicked and senseless. There is no sin punishable by Holocaust. There's no such sin. So that's a cheap shot. You're trying to justify God by blaming the victim. I think God hates that. Don't blame the victim, particularly in our generation. To suggest that God is angry, even with that little girl, God is angry at us because we fail to do mitzvahs or because we violate. You got to be out of your mind. It's been 3,000 years since we heard from God. People something. When was the first time God spoke to an entire nation? Oh, at Mount Sinai. When is the last time God spoke to a nation? At Mount Sinai. It was the first and last time God spoke to us. That was 3,300 years ago. 2,000 of those years were absolutely miserable, indescribably difficult, painful, crazy, crazy years. And he doesn't talk to us. Now you're going to come and tell me that this year, when you did something you were not supposed to do, God is angry at you and will punish you for it? What kind of God are you talking about? Where's the justice? Where's the sense? If a Jew today does a single mitzvah, or even knows that there is a mitzvah, he's already bigger than life. He's a hero. The Jew who tells his children, we are Jewish, is a hero. Why? Why does he remember being Jewish, and why is it important to him? I'm sure it reduces God to tears to see the devotion of the Jews today. How could he possibly be angry at us? But it's really, and we talk about giving God a bad name. On the contrary, everything Jewish a Jew does today is huge. Despite everything, after all it's amazing. Jews are absolutely amazing. It's not possible that God is angry at any Jew today. Because whatever we do wrong, who's to blame? You expect Jews to be perfect after what you put us through? No, he doesn't expect that. In fact, he's quite pleasantly surprised at how Jewish we are. So to even go there, to even talk about reward and punishment, we're way beyond that. We've graduated way beyond that. We are so united with God that with reward, without reward, punishment, no punishment, it's not going to change anything. We are his, and he is ours. Let me end with this. I was traveling and I wanted to bring home a souvenir. So I go into the souvenir shop, which is nothing impressive. But I found this embroidered pillow. On the one side, the words stitched into the pillow said, I'm smiling because you're my sister. On the other side, it said, and I'm laughing because there's nothing you can do about it. You're stuck with me. See, the same thing is true. So I bought it for my sister. But the same thing is true with God. You would think that we're discouraged. You would think we quit. We don't want to be Jewish. We don't care about it anymore. In our relationship with God, on our tefillin bag or on the Torah covers, we should embroider the words, I'm smiling because I am your people. I am yours. And on the other side, it should say, and I am laughing because there's nothing you can do about it. We are not giving up on you. God is angry at us? Just simple decency dictates that he can't be angry at us. Not after what he put us through. Where's the justice? No, he is extremely proud of us. He is even maybe surprised at how good we turned out? Because it's superhuman. We, superhuman. And that's, with all due humility, we are what we are. And the world knows it. Just we're too humble to recognize it. So we should celebrate being Jewish. God celebrates our Jewishness. It justifies all of creation, makes it all worthwhile. So if you have 5 minutes, do something for him. Put on tefillin. Give a little charity. Say a blessing. Notice the mezuzah on your door. Just for him. It is absolutely true. Human beings need to be needed more than they need to be loved. Being quarantined has made us realize this. We don't need things. We've done without things for a year now. We didn't travel, we didn't go for entertainment, we didn't have sports events, we didn't go to work, we didn't go to school. We don't need any of those things. But like the rabbi said to you, the only thing we need is closeness. I want to be there for him. And he makes it easy. 613 opportunities, take your pick.
So I think what you're saying is will create such an important paradigm shift for people that experience their Jewish practice and concepts of spirituality and connection to God. And I have to say that, this whole question of does God need us? Do we, does God have no needs? What you're telling me and from what I understand about how basic human relationships work, it just sounds totally intuitive to me, and I would imagine that the world God creates, he'll make it so that we can intuit from the way we experience relationships that such principles can apply with him. And when you look at it that way, life and world history and what we're doing in our engagement of mitzvot, it becomes a love story, basically. And love stories can be full of bumps and pains and highs and lows, but I just think this is such a it's so beautiful to look at it this way, and it pains me that many people, including myself, haven't always been taught to experience Judaism in this light. And if it's all about the punishing, fiery God, it really pushes people away, and more than that, can be very destructive.
So what is it about Gehenna? What is hell? From a Jewish perspective, not from Dante's Inferno. So to understand it properly, very briefly, the expression going to hell is incorrect. First of all, hell is not a place. It's not a location. It's a condition. You don't go there. You go through Gehenna. You go through that experience. You don't go there and sit there. It's not a place, not a habitat. You go through it. And what are you going through? The regrets. How many regrets does a person have at the end of life? Many. If I could only do it over again, So the regrets are embarrassing. So what does it mean to burn in hell? You're talking about the soul, not about the body. The body is not burning. And how do you burn a soul? Well, the only way a soul burns is with shame. Because a soul is far more sensitive than a body. Exquisitely sensitive. So the embarrassment is painful. How much embarrassment do we have? Well, if we went down the anatomy, start with your head. What did you do in your mind that you're regretting? What did you do with your eyes that you regret? What did you do with your mouth that you regret? Every part of the body, there are some regrets. Could have done better, shouldn't have done what I did, whatever. That's hell. And you don't go there, you go through it. And who goes through it? Everybody. Except those weird creatures who have absolutely no conscience. They don't go to hell. They're not even worthy of that. So hell means adjusting from the life of a body to a life without a body. How long does that adjustment take? Well, it depends on how deeply committed you were to your body. If you weren't really, really hung up on your body, then the adjustment is easier. The more gluttonous, the more materialistic, the harder it is to let go. So you're embarrassed. But the maximum time in hell is 12 months. That's why we say Kaddish for 11 months. Because not everybody needs the maximum 12 months. Then again, they might. So we do it 11 months. But some people, an hour of regret, and they're ready for heaven. So the way to understand hell from a Jewish perspective is getting to heaven is hell. But we're going to heaven. You're not going to hell. You just got to go through hell to get there. So it's, again, a compliment to the soul. It shows that we have a conscience. We know right from wrong. We really meant to do better. We wish we could do better. Regret is a sign of decency, of sensitivity. So as the soul becomes pure soul without a body, there's a lot to unlearn and a lot to forget and erase. That's hell. But we're going to heaven. You're not going to hell. You got to deserve to go to hell. Like somebody says, is Hitler in hell? God forbid. If he came to hell, everybody else would leave. Like, there goes the neighborhood, you know? No, he's not in hell. Hell means to clean up and salvage what's good. There wasn't enough good in him to clean up or salvage. So where is he? Who says he is? Some people don't have eternity. They're just not anymore. Anyway, the point of it is this. Even if God sends you through hell, you should take it as a compliment. You matter enough to him, even after you sinned, that he wants to clean you up and have you in heaven. And heaven is only temporary. Eventually, every soul comes back to its body. Because being retired is not a Jewish concept. And heaven is a retirement home. We would much rather be here on earth serving God. So the souls will all come back to earth, come back to their bodies, and go back to serving God. That's the Jewish view.
Wow. Rabbi, thank you so much. Honestly, I feel like we could continue to speak about this and go on for hours and hours. I have no doubt that there's so much more that we could cover. I would love to ask if you would consider doing this again at some point on the channel.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I feel like there's just so much more that we want to cover. I have no doubt our viewers are going to take a lot from this. And so just a massive thank you to you for your time, for your insight, your wisdom, and we look forward to the next one.
Thank you for the opportunity. I think you might be able to tell that I enjoy this.
Absolutely. I think the feeling is mutual. Thank you so much.